Good evening all. Sorry we are a bit late, but that's the way it happens. I've been late before. With me tonight is probably the most familiar face of RAEL. Is Kurt Schuler, who is the CEO of... Cheers, Kurt.
Cheers to that.
Who's the CEO of RAEL. Does amazing work. I've been away for 2 days. It feels like one day. I went up and I went up to see the flowers. Can you believe it, huh? A drunk going up to see the flowers. And but now I'm sober, so I can appreciate them. And I know where I stayed was actually quite amazing. Or where we stayed, Rihanna and I, was at a house where there's any signal. There's no TV there. And it's just not for bonking. Now, let's just get this straight here, you know what I mean? There's leopards there, there's...
well, that could be quite dangerous.
Yeah, no, hectic. I don't want to tell you about the... Rihanna's online. I don't want to tell you the story about the leopard, because, you know, no one's going to believe that story. And, yeah, so I'm going to leave the story about the leopard. And then it's an old people's farm, elderly people, lovely people, outside Clan William, but far in the bush. And the springbok that run around there, it's absolutely amazing. And it was amazing to get away for 2 days, where the evenings when we got back home, where the evenings were not disturbed by any social media or TV. You know, I read again. I read a bit of my one of my Winston Churchill books, because as you know, I love Winston Churchill. I'd love to have met him, and maybe one day we will meet. And so it was a great, you know, great getaway. The flowers were beautiful. I think Rihanna took 8,922 photographs. I know she took one photograph. There was one particular daisy. I don't know why that daisy was the interest, but it was, I think she took 12 or 14 photographs just of this one small daisy. So it shows doctors are also not all together there, but it's okay. You know, we can accept those things, Kurt. You know what I mean? Accept the things we cannot change. It was lovely to come back to the farm. This is my home. I got 2 homes, but this is my home. But it was so nice to come back, and everything is running perfectly. Kurt has really matured into a fine manager, very strict manager. We take no shit. He takes no shit. Because what are we doing? We're looking after our lives. Because the most important thing in this house is my sobriety, Kurt's sobriety, Graham's sobriety, Justin's sobriety, Werner's sobriety, Carl's sobriety. In the den now, watching a movie, all this sobriety, but our sobriety is the most important thing. And Kurt and I keep this going because our sobriety is at stake. That's how it operates.
Definitely.
Furthermore, you know, the roads were quiet. I went to a lovely lodge to go have supper last night. It's called the Red Ox, if any of you have been there. I can't pronounce it, Kalahutsi or whatever they call it, lodge. Oh, the service there was just like so excellent. Price, met some interesting, like people who know me very well. I speak to everyone that I can speak to. How's it? How you doing? What you doing? And to get to know people, and it was lovely. From the petrol jockey, I made a video with him, and we had a good laugh. He's a shorty, and we had a good laugh. And the drive back was lovely, except I don't enjoy driving anymore. The doctor was driving. She almost wiped us out. The highest pass in South Africa, and she's looking at the flowers, and the next minute we across the road, and there was like 18 cars coming on. So, but luckily she pulled the car to the left, otherwise you wouldn't be listening and seeing my ugly
the doctor's
face.
a good driver as well, not just a doctor.
No, she's a very good driver. She's very humble, very good driver, but she should learn to keep her eyes on the road.
One of the only doctors I know that won't prescribe methadone.
Doesn't prescribe methadone, refuses to prescribe methadone, and I agree with her fully.
Yeah, that stuff harmed me.
What did methadone do to you?
I know I used heroin to detox from methadone because it just got me more addicted.
Maybe explain the methadone process, Kurt, and I'll go through your messages and read them out to you.
I'll just go from the top there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was
Aaron,
looking
how's
down
it?
because the device that we're using, the comments don't come up on the screen. I think in general there's all different kinds of things that the doctors are prescribing now that they think that work
Sorry,
for
can I just interrupt you?
addiction.
Duncan Hall. And we know relations, Duncan, otherwise they're going to people, I wish I was a relation of yours, you sing so well, is that they're going to think that all the halls are drunks. And Duncan writes here, this ex-drunk was in Belfast working Ireland. And that's where my parents and them come from, Ireland. Good to be sober. Beautiful, huh? Duncan's got amazing sobriety. He really blesses RAEL. He's always blessed RAEL, and he's still got that beautiful guitar he blessed us with. Lovely, Duncan. Be lekker there in Belfast. There's no more IRA. And yeah, beautiful. And to all the other people, good evening. I'm not going to mention. It's wonderful to see the names I'm going through.
Popping up quick as
Quick, yeah, no, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Because if I mention one name, then it's going to be... Okay. So beautiful to have Ireland on board here tonight. And have Duncan, our friend. Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Sorry, Kurt, I interrupted you about the methadone. I've never taken methadone because I wasn't like a big addict like you. You know what I mean? You were the main addict. You heroin oaks think that you cream cheese. You know what I mean?
And some of them call us the elitist club, but then when we land up at Souls or wherever the heroin takes us, and broke in debt, and I think lucky to make it out of there alive. And I always think of it whenever we make a fire and we had a warm place and things like that. That the little things that are posted around the farm is a reminder of where I could be, if like you said, that sobriety isn't my priority, and that's what we have to hold on to all the time. And the biggest guard against relapse is the recovering addict and the person with recovery, because it's been proven that that's what works before any doctors, psychiatrists and psychologists and all of that. And yes, for sure there is different kinds of illness, and it's like it says here, the last chance saloon. I think what happens is that and I'll get onto the methadone. It's because something that I tried, because we always try the easier, softer way. We try the 3-week clinics, we try the medications, we try the programs where we're just sitting in classes the whole day. We try the programs where the counselors are saying, oh, it's going to be okay, my boy, and not telling you the truth. And what we're dealing with addiction, man, and methadone just took my addiction. It might have helped me to be on time for work, because I could use methadone instead of heroin and go straight to work. And I could use methadone until such time I could get and make a plan. I could also outwardly, it made my life look like it was a little bit more manageable. But I can tell you something: when the methadone starts pulling out, it makes heroin look like a joke. It's almost like heroin and methadone is like the difference between wine and Witblitz.
Like the kind of wine that the doctor drinks.
Yes.
And she drinks a lot of it.
The red wine that the
Yeah, and You know, you said the doctor doesn't prescribe methadone, and now there's a lot of people. Hi, Daryl from. I'm just getting the people from overseas tonight. Daryl from overseas, and then obviously Lee J from the RAEL team from England. Daryl from England. Lovely to have you people on board. You know, and you know what you're talking about is how many doctors haven't got a clue about addiction, but how many doctors, we know doctors in Cape Town where you take 150 rand and you can get a script for anything. Good?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think even by I first went to a very willing doctor that I think he had good intentions actually to start off with. Maybe he had a soft spot for addicts and things like that, but he was completely ignorant of how to prescribe it and how much I should have and things like that. And he overprescribed completely first of all, and then in America and like most people will see on the TV shows and the drug shows and things like that, whatever happens there eventually, and they say that methadone is harm reduction. The only harm reduction that was involved with people that I know personally that's been on it is that we stole less from other people, but we went deeper into our own misery and deeper into our own addiction and struggled and prolonged it to get off.
Kurt, Michelle's asking, yeah, and this is why it's informative. Excuse my ignorance, because Michelle, you know, Michelle, that Michelle, the
There's
one
a
who
few
Rihanna,
Michelles on there.
Rihanna's now going to give up the doctorship and she's also going to go to Mavericks.
Sorry, I must say as well, there's even been doctors that have prescribed tranquilizers and methadone for tic withdrawal, which
No, give me a favor.
It's two different drugs. Like
So Michelle asks, what is methadone?
methadone is a nice name basically for morphine. It's basically synthetic. It's a synthetic opioid, which works on the same receptors in the brain. I know it sounds very technical or whatever. It works on the same receptors in the brain as what heroin does, and it's got a longer half-life. So if I take methadone today, where heroin I would start having a runny nose and withdrawals in 4 to 8 hours. Methadone, I would start having a runny nose and a sore back and all the withdrawal symptoms in 12 hours. But the withdrawal of it takes longer, but it also peaks harder. So withdrawing from methadone, you would then walk. I've walked to the merchant trying to get heroin, or walk to the doctor and things like that. I'll walk a couple of steps and actually sit down and stop because of the pain and things like that, and then carry on. But it's basically it's pharmaceutical heroin, morphine, methadone, pethidine, codeine. It's all family of the same.
It's good. You're not sure you're not a doctor, bro? Because you know a lot more than most doctors. I think this man's hiding something from us here. Because normally when Kurt, sorry to interrupt you, my
studied
brother.
a lot of the practical side, but not yeah. I was,
You talk about medication here, Kurt, and I almost sit in awe of you. All I do is sit in awe of you, and I think, shit, you like kind of know inside out medication, brother.
I think where that comes from, and I'll come back to the Last Chance Saloon, is that I've in other rehabs I've met oaks that thought they had the answers, and it's because we've tried all these different things along the way, and then I've met oaks back here after 10 years of seeing them in recovery 10 years ago at other places, and these are all the different things that we try that like it's book that we thought there was an easier, softer way, and the result was no, and that is what it was all the time. I would start off maybe taking a drug or a pharmaceutical or something that I thought that would help to get me out of the addiction, but it was actually just keep there. There were even times, Mr. Hall, and you know this, that I would con myself into saying I'm only weed, and at the time, because I'm sick, I'm actually convincing myself that this is keeping me off heroin. But in reflection of what you've taught me and what I know today, it actually taught me that it was slowly driving me back to the heroin and not keeping me off. So that's at the time what your mind is telling you. Okay, now I'm doing well. I'm actually only smoking weed or whatever. But in the meantime, it's busy taking you back to the heroin, not keeping you off.
Okay. Kurt, I got a message here from Darren Hansen. I wanted to you boys and donate to your good cause. Probably next year, but we'll keep in touch. Much love. Thank you, my brother.
Okay,
Thank you.
awesome.
That's okay.
I know Darren Hansen.
Okay. What kind of shows does he do?
Very good on a motorbike, eh? Very,
is it?
Very good on a motorbike. Yeah, he had I remember he had a ultimate VFR 400 that he used to beat a lot of bikes that were meant to be faster than him at Kalani, and done all kinds of crazy stuff on the bike. But
Okay, lekker,
from a
Darren.
young age, yeah. From a young age, it's lekker to see names like this popping up, and if I'm not mistaken, he could also even be in the UK. Huh?
He is. No, he is. That's what I thought.
He could even also be in the UK.
I'm not greeting the South Africans tonight,
so,
because we're only greeting the overseas people.
That's
There's
the
too
nice
many
thing
people here.
about the social media, in the sense of where you can, if it's you check, okay, this is also happening in my life, or that's happening in this oak's life, and this is where he is, and then it can also make you think like, okay, there are other people that are identifying or doing well, or this is normal, or this isn't normal, and it's lekker to see that names like those pop up, and that there is an interest.
Absolutely. You know, Kurt, I was thinking about that, just on that subject now. We've kind of worked out, and it's, you know, if I was a wealthy man, I would take in every addict on the street. So, you know, I'd buy farms, and I'd just value a farm for addicts, but not lazy ones. You know, Kurt, you know that I've sponsored a lot of people on this farm for the last 10 years.
Sure.
It's cost me millions. It doesn't cost me millions in physical money, but it's cost me millions to feed them, you know, water, electricity. And I'm not even talking now about the education side of them, the helping with the recovery, the transport, the going to the doctors, etc. So I've spent millions on them. And what I do find, and Kurt, you find it with me,
Excuse me.
is the ungratefulness.
Oof.
You know, I can spend 100,000 rand on a person for 7 months, pick up the phone and say, cheers, goodbye. Thank you, Mr. Hall. You're a dickhead. Or thank you for saving my life. Now we know it says, okay, it's going to come back to you. It's going to come back to you. Yes, it's going to come back to you. We've never been financed by anyone, but there are such people. And this brings me to Daryl's message now. There's wonderful people that, like Michelle and Ura, Dion, I can mention so many, who bring us dog food. The doctor virtually charges no one. She's charged one or two people here, and virtually charges no one. And she's also got a life to live. You know, when my mom was in an old age home, you go and ask that prick who ran it, because what it is. Can I have a discount? No ways. I think too many people are getting to the point now, and then they try and put you on a persecution mania, that if you don't take my son and you call yourself a Christian, you're actually evil. I do not run the shelter of the community chest. You know what I mean, Kurt? And the ungratefulness, and they turn out to be the hardest cases here. Not all of them, don't get me wrong, but the laziest cases here. Because you know what? They go home and they tell, hey, I haven't wasted any of your money. I wasted Mr. Hall money, Mr. Hall's money, Mr. Schuler's money. That's what I wasted. And Kurt and I see these things. We sit up late at night and we discuss things. And I think I'll leave it to Kurt. Kurt knows I'm the last man. I'm the last man who will deny another man anything. I'm a giver in life. Always have been a giver. Sometimes maybe gave too much. But I've never regretted it. But I'm a giver. But a lot of people take kindness for weakness. And it gets irritating. And then you think, hey, I could be the guy in the corner there that doesn't have money. Absolutely doesn't have money. I had one case here. I just want to tell you quickly, Kurt, you were here. When a father phoned me and said that he doesn't want to he can't afford to pay for his son. Would I sponsor him? And it was like a long story, tears, the whole trip. You know, so I said, yeah, okay, no problem. Bring him in, we'll sort out the little boy. He stops here in a Mercedes-Benz, and I can't even pronounce what kind of make of Mercedes-Benz it was. Then he goes to the boot, and he takes out Woolworths packet. Let's be real, you know. We are an organization, but we're a charity, but we're not a charity because I have to pay this man's expensive wages every month. Salary from RAEL. RAEL pays my expenses, but I don't take a salary. I haven't got a fixed salary. From the day that I got separated from my ex-wife, I stopped taking a salary. And he got out with the Woolworths packets, and I said to him, remember, kid, hey, China, you're driving a car probably worth 2 million. You probably got 2,000 rands worth here for your little puppy. And you want me to sponsor your son? You want drugs, my brother? Okay, shortly to say, like, he did leave. We get used, though. And I'll tell you, the days of using are over, are absolutely over. Unless you can, it comes down to really, I'm right at the end and your child is almost dead. Because I've sponsored people, like I tell you now, to the tune, we tried to work it out the other night, 3.8 something million rand. Million rand, work it out, how many people, even on my farm today, if you work out how many on my farm today, it's not 100,000. It's way, way more. And I will never, ever go and beg someone for money. Never will I do that. I won't beg them for food. I won't beg them even the streets. Robot. I didn't beg. I just scratched in rubbish bins and looked on the floor for a toppy. You see what happens here every day. Maybe it's wrong if I say it.
I think what happens is it becomes a case of, okay, if you do say yes to sponsorship and that, you know, how desperate are we, and if we're willing to give this and that up in our personal lives, then what is the family willing to do? TV? And we're not even talking just about the total accommodation factor. Is Eddie tripping there?
Yeah, Eddie's tripping. Our one dog is tripping, Eddie. But Eddie's got anger issues, like many people around here. So we got like 11 dogs. Don't worry about that. But Eddie's tripping. Eddie's the tripper. He's like Michelle.
So, yeah, what happens is we say, righto, we will, for example, sponsor somebody for 3 months, give him a chance, because he's one out of probably about, geez, I can't even give you a number of calls that we get a day of terrible situations, of 80 whose houses are getting broken in. And it's not by the community, it's by their own family and things like that. And it's terrible stories. And I think we get read wrong sometimes, that that if it was up to us, that we would probably be driving around in a bus collecting all the addicts and putting them up and things like that. But those are the ones that really need it, that really don't have anybody, that you know, and then it becomes a case of, you mentioned how much you've invested in people's lives and things like that. And it's all the extra things that to get them on your feet that I've seen happen here, getting them IDs, helping them get driver's license, up and down to the department, up and down to the clinic, and all of that, and sacrificing your own time. I think what almost made me realize that people, or made the penny drop in me, that people do have a cheek, is that I think that, in all honesty, I think if it's 10 days out of a year that you're not on the farm, Mr. Hall, then it's a lot. And even when you're not on the farm, you're taking pictures and you're sending it to me. Hey, check this oak here, check how the addiction is got him, and check this situation, and how sad is this, and and still, involved in the recovery side of things, even when you're not here those few days out of the year. And then you'll get somebody that will try and manipulate you and send you a message, and if you tell them to contact me, ask you like, aren't you the head of RAEL? Kind of thing, when at least you've taken the time to reply to that. And then we'll like sometimes take people in and say, okay, this is the agreement, and we'll see how willing he is for 3 months and things like that. But I believe that those people that are sponsored, Mr. Hall, should realize that if they were out there on the streets, they would need to do something to be putting food in their mouth. And even if it is standing at the robots, even if it is robots, it's a form of doing something for themselves too, where they should at least be doing something over here then to at least cover the eating side of it, or the normal accommodation side. And then what happens is the agreement is, okay, like 3 months or X amount of time, whatever. Then obviously, because we feel for the guys, we see, hey, but this oak is doing well and the family's still not coming to the party and all of that, and they're posting on Facebook their outings that they've been on and all of that.
Overseas trips.
And all of that.
Kurt.
And then we get put on a guilt trip.
That's the thing.
Go
That's
drop
the
the
thing.
oak off by the shelter.
Yes, that's the thing.
And we know what happens in shelters. We know what happens to an oak that is vulnerable. So it's a form of methadone.
Yeah.
You just supporting, because I believe that anybody that is here and doing his thing should be.
Fully.
And people say, how can you support the addict? Or he's stolen this from me. He's done this to me and all of that. And that's what I mentioned in last night's meeting, that for sure not all illnesses that we're faced with is self-inflicted, but you do get people that get sick from high cholesterol, because they didn't stop eating what they were meant to be eating. But let them have a heart attack and go to hospital, they're going to be supported. And I can never understand it with addiction, but I think in the bigger scheme of things, it's just, there's almost too much expected. Why can't you help?
Aren't you getting married soon?
The same. Why?
Wait, hang on. I don't know the question. Aren't you getting married soon? Not. Okay. Now I heard a rumor. Obviously, it's not true. I just heard a rumor Kurt was getting married. Okay, sorry. I must have been. Graham, are you getting married soon?
No.
I heard someone in this house is getting married soon. Werner?
No, I think it was long.
Next year, April.
Okay. Is it you, Carl?
Oh,
Sure. Sorry, but look, it's just like. Okay, Kurt. That's I was getting married, and there's a person who's come on here now, Tanya Smith King. Tanya, thank you very much. I've never acknowledged you for always supporting us and phoning me today that you've got more stuff that we can give to also the homeless and to people that don't have. Now, because a lot of people rock up here just with a suitcase, and inside the suitcase is nothing. And people must understand we're not the hard people that we don't want to help. We want to help everyone. But 10 years that we've been on the farm and 13 years that we had RAEL, it's all been like out of our funds, and that is the grace and the mercy, Kurt, on our lives. I know what it's like to come from the streets. So the grace and the mercy allowed me to do what I'm doing with the great help, and I'm going to mention these two people, of Miles October, a businessman in Cape Town, a wonderful businessman. This I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. Okay, we know about the grace of God. He always gets the credit first. Miles October, second person was a lovely lady by the name of Denise Levy.
Yes, I've heard.
They helped me. This was Denise Levy's farm. And with her and Miles, and I'm not going to go into the intricacies of it, but without Miles and her, we wouldn't be here. So someone helped us So we're helping others. But when you help others and the abuse comes in, no. My blessing today, Kurt, is that 10 meters away there, sleeping tightly with her nurse, is my mother. That's my blessing. You can't come put any money in front of me, R1 million or 10 million rand, and tell me, this is this. Enjoy that. No. I've got this blessing that my mom who's got dementia is there, and luckily enough I go out with a girlfriend who's a doctor, and she looks after mom, and Angus looks after mom, and Daisy looks after mom. Kurt pops in there all the time. Graham pops in there, and Carl, my mother was tripping the other day, with dementia they trip, and Carl was told by my mom straight, get out of this room, I don't want you in this room. But she didn't really know Carl. She was on one of her. Now, if you don't know dementia, you're going to take offense. Like my father had dementia for 12, 15 years. He lasted long. And I knew that. And he used to say to me, and those were in my drinking days. He used to say to me, Anthony, take me out. And then I go drive my dad around. It's horrible dementia. But if your loved one has got, say, dementia, you're going to do the best for their loved one. My mom couldn't have gone to that old age home. And I tell the old age home, hey, listen here.
Can you sponsor?
Sorry, please sponsor my mom. That dick who would just tell me, hey, hit the road, China. And it's not that we're calling out for money. Please don't get me wrong. We're calling out for people and maybe government. But it's okay. Pay back the money. But we have to have a start somewhere. I would love to. Big, massive farm and have a kibbutz and have people work on the farm. And I've always said Robben Island is the best place because you're not going to run away from Robben Island. And there you work the lands, and there you work. If you want to eat, you work. So Robben Island would be the perfect place, perfect legacy to reap legacy for Mandela, who hasn't got a legacy anymore because you can see what the ANC are doing. That would be the but, and it's falling apart. The last time I was at Robben Island, it looked like Island Robben. Apart. But no, we won't take that little bit of heritage, whatever the crap they call it, our children's lives. We'd rather keep it and make a couple of money to take people from the boat to Robben Island, and the boat never works. So we're screwed up. We need more help. Our children are screaming out for help, even if they don't really want help deep down. But I can tell you, I lay many a night on my bed, and I wanted to stop.
Of course.
I wanted to stop. But I didn't know how to stop. I didn't know when to stop.
That's why I know about all these things that don't work, because I kept trying.
Yeah, and it's terrible that. Terrible things. I saw the other day, and please excuse me if you are one of them, but if you are one of them, then it's okay. A rumor goes on Facebook that the bottle stores or CR17, the Honorable Cyril White Monopoly Capital Ramaphosa, was going to make an announcement to the nation. Immediately, there's a rush on the bottle stores. It's like Standard Bank and Nedbank and First National Bank saying there's going to be no cash tomorrow. So there's a rush on the bank. There's a rush on the bottle stores. The other videos we saw last week, people lining up at 4 o'clock in the morning to buy their booze. Maybe there's more alcoholics in this country than we thought there were.
Definitely, of course.
Maybe there are more addicts in this country than we think there are. And those people need help. You can't be standing at 4 o'clock in the morning to buy alcohol if you're a diabetic and waiting for insulin. Then I'd understand it. Then I'd understand going to the clinic at 5 o'clock to get your meds. But to go get your juice at 4 o'clock in the morning, Kurt, that's a bit heavy, bro.
I wonder if all those people's bills were paid.
There's a run on the bank, run on the bottle store, so where's the money now? Where's the money? You know, Kurt, your mother said the worst withdrawal she's seen from you is methadone.
Yeah.
And I think we must talk more about methadone. And maybe we can ask the doctor to come and explain methadone and come in, or not only methadone, but come and explain all the different medications. Because of a lot of our mothers and fathers of people who come in here through the years are hooked and dependent and addictive on antidepressants and tranquilizers,
I've
etc.
actually pointed that out before, that in a detox facility, that on my first day there, I was in a bit of a bad mood. So the set of questions that they gave me to tick yes or no, diagnosed with anxiety and depression. And then the next day they gave me a bit of detox meds, so I was feeling better, and I had a phone call to mom and whatnot. And I was interviewed again by a nurse on the next shift. And depending on my mood, I answered the questions. And when I left there, I think I had about 4 different diagnoses, which I don't think you can diagnose somebody with something that when the drugs are still busy pulling out, because you're actually just giving them more. I think I've explained it before. If I'm having a bad day, say for example, like I explained last night, if Carl is my girlfriend and Carl breaks up with me, then I'm having a bad day and I feel bad. The only thing that the drugs or the booze or the antidepressants does is it cons me into not feeling like that. It doesn't help me to actually deal with it. You know, and for sure, yes, there are people that have chemical imbalances that have, but
for sure.
We're too quick to diagnose, Mr. Hall.
Yeah, especially in the drug
We're too quick
world.
to diagnose, and the pharmaceutical world, I think, in a sense, maybe 60% of it is just as bad as the dealer on the corner.
By far, they worth billions, man. That's a billion dollar industry. Now we have to look out, and again back on this point of the bottle stores, is that if there was an announcement tonight that CR is going to speak at 12 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, I can guarantee you the queues to the bottle stores will be packed.
I think people will miss work.
Will miss work for it. So we can buy money for booze. A lot of people living in poverty is their money for food. And we're not being judgmental here, because I'll tell you now, when I was drinking, and I was drinking heavily, I probably would have been in the queue.
I know, definitely.
There's no doubt about it. But I'm saying, you know, a lot of things that are happening in this country, we aren't putting our priorities right, man. I think there should be 2 years back in the army for, okay, but then again, this army is pathetic. So maybe a private army or a boot camp. I think our kids must go through that, huh?
I think
They must toughen up.
That's right, Mr. Hall.
They're weak, man.
Most of it is being a good work ethic, yourself, brush in your own bed, and doing all the things that most single mothers do.
Yeah.
For their kids before they go to school in the morning, then they go to a whole day job, and there's things happening in their lives and stuff like that as well, and I know that there is lots of situations like that, but I think that I don't want to say 80s or 90s or
Zuma said we mustn't share a Zol, huh? You don't
but
listen
there's
to
no
Zuma.
saliva on the Zoom. It's all right.
Kurt and I have been sharing cigarettes for the last 15 years, and we're fine. Yeah, I agree with that. There has to be, you know what what we were taught in the police in basics was what our parents taught us. But the basics another level, where you had to look after yourself, you had to make your own bed, you had to clean your boots, you had to lie on the floor after your bed was made, because you wanted there was going to be an inspection the next day. So I lost that respect, different morals, values, when I was drinking and drugging, mainly drinking, but it stays with you. But our youth today excuse my French, are fucking lazy. They don't want to wash a car, they don't want to mow a lawn, they don't want to wash mommy's windows, they want to lay there, mom will serve them, mom will make their beds, mom will do this, mom will do this.
And we've found with the addiction recovery process, because even if you've had that and you come from a home that's taught that and things like that, you unlearn it. Addiction takes that away from you. It makes you more suck, it makes you slack. That's eventually what it does. You get your priorities wrong and mixed up, like people standing at the bottle store instead of paying their bills. And
people saying here, Kurt, sorry my brother, is that people were buying cartons of cigarettes, and Michelle and the other people, I don't think they work with Michelle at Mavericks. Guys, if you ever want tickets for Mavericks, just phone me or Mr. Kurt, and we'll organize the tickets through Michelle. We'd queue for chocolate. That's another addiction, huh? Mm. But chocolate's fine because it doesn't make your life unmanageable. It may make you ill. I'm not a doctor. But that's fine. As long as you're eating good chocolate and it's Belgium chocolate, then you know you're on or Swiss chocolate. Have you had Swiss chocolate?
yes.
Where did you get Swiss chocolate from?
From Spa.
From Spa?
Yes.
How much did you pay for it?
It's a lot more expensive than the other chocolate.
No, did you pay for it there?
Yes, I've never stolen from Spa, but the security still follow me around in Spa.
You said so.
I don't know why. And yeah, no, something else that popped up. There's no set date for getting married, Mr. Hall, but I am engaged. But we'll await the invitations.
Oh, you're engaged?
Yes.
Hey, congratulations,
quite
brother.
a long time.
Congratulations. Hey, one of my closest men, if not my closest man, is engaged. Can we sing to you, Kurt? What do you sing for an engagement? I've been engaged about 18 times, bro.
Okay,
Congratulations, huh?
Thank you very much, Mr. Hall.
Did you buy the ring?
Yes.
You didn't steal it?
No.
Things have changed, eh?
I think it's the first thing that I never saw.
There you have it, people. Kurt, who became a father about 7 months ago, eh?
Yes.
7 months ago, is engaged to be married. Oh, jeez, that is... I knew there was a rumor going around this farm when I got home this evening. Now, you're the man, Kurt.
Hardcore.
You the other man. Sure. Yo, what's people saying? That's right. Yeah, cheapest Kurt, you got so much to live for. You got a sober life now, and I've seen this man at his absolute worst. I've seen this man close to death. And so is Lucille, who's watching, his sister, his dad Conrad, and his mom Vanessa. And I've seen the rise of this man. If anyone doesn't tell me that this place works, come and look at Kurt Schuler. Come and look at the before and after. And what he does. I can never stop praising this man. I don't have to praise him because I pay him. But I praise him because what he does is brilliant. He's an absolute brilliant asset to me as a human being. Not only is he my employee, but he's my friend. He's my friend. Kurt, I'm not engaged.
Okay.
No, that will take a time. Ever. You never know, Kurt. You never know in this wild world. And yeah, congratulations, Mel, as well, on getting engaged to this fine man. He's a big catch. So you're a lucky girl to have Kurt.
I think my first words to Mal was, "Do you know what you're getting yourself into?"
Oh God! And she must have said, she just must have looked at you and said,
And then I had to show her what she was getting herself into. And it's right what you said.
This is Maverick's talk here.
No, not that side of it. I think she didn't believe me when I told her how bad addiction can be, and then put her through some shit as well. But yeah, also there hasn't been many people that aren't blood family that would have stood by me through ways and means and all of that as well, and obviously the bonds and the connections that you build with people in recovery that support you. and your fellow addicts and the fellowship over here. And I always tell the guys as well, even if I don't like Justin, he's a oak in recovery, and we can't like everybody, but he is also a link in my chain of.
Yes. We will love everyone unconditionally.
Definitely.
But the liking part, we don't have to like everyone. You know, to love one another. But to me, what is the highlight, and it's always been the highlight, but last year sometime it just seemed to have died away, or this year with the COVID, is when the parents come and visit.
Yes.
I love that. Absolutely. Not to give a full report back on their child, because if they shit with their child, I'll tell them they shit with their child. And so will Kurt. But, you know, when the parents come and you sit down and you have a cool drink with them, you have a cigarette with them, you talk a bit of shit, what's happening in their lives, I love it. Especially on a nice summer's day, where summer's coming. I hate winter. Summer's coming, and I just can't wait. And okay, Diana, this is the first time I've seen you laugh. Okay, that's fine. Tanya, we're not giving up smoking, but we the champ packs. And Kurt took the first of his yesterday, eh?
Yes, and I didn't feel like smoking this morning.
Yeah, so I have to still take my first one. To me, I live with the slogan, easy does it. You know, you'll get there, just keep it simple. So you'll get there, Tanya. You're nagging me like the doctor. Every 5 minutes I must hear, when are you stopping smoking? When are you... But it's okay. I know I must stop, and I will stop. Like I stopped alcohol. Tomorrow, Kurt, I'm 15 years and 2 months sober.
Yeah, I
Tomorrow's a big milestone for me.
That's
Can I just go to the toilet for a moment?
definitely, that's always lekker to hear, Mr. Hall, and I think with what Mr. Hall said about Mr. Hall said about the families coming here and all of that, it always, in reflection, puts me into a space of when Mr. Hall tells stories about his drinking history and how it was family wise and broken relationships and all of that, and to what he has today with his family and the rebuilt relationships and things like that is what gives us hope to carry on. And then seeing, like I say all the time, seeing a mom or dad or a wife or loved one booking somebody in here, and they sometimes look more tired and sleep deprived than the person that's been awake for a week on tick. And then seeing them after a month or 2 months, and you actually see the whole unit sort of coming back together and rebuilding and all of that. And obviously to see a person getting rebuilt through just our recoveries being shared to them is amazing.
Yeah, I think because it's a family illness, and we all want to be part of the families. We want to get to know them. They become our friends, and a lot have become our friends. I don't want to point out anyone. I'll just point one, like Michelle has become a friend of ours. And it's good to, like when Gaynor was here, her and her husband, they were friends of ours. It's good to have that connection, because we live a very, almost an isolated life here, Kurt. And then when we go out, it's to adapt, not to adapt, but then we're in a different space. So we're more on the farm, we're more dealing with 20, 30 people all the time. So the one will come at 8 o'clock that they got a headache because maybe it's a bit windy, don't feel like working. Now we know all the cons. And what I used to do is I used to give them vitamin tablets and tell them, this was years ago, don't do it anymore. I used to tell them that this will make your headache go away in 5 minutes, and they used to come back to me and say, Mr. Hall, that's the most amazing headache tablet I've ever had in my life. Okay, I got a bit of vitamin, so it's all good, not giving them bad stuff. But I think what the big thing is, where to from here? Where to from here for the political war for addiction? If Chuck Norris, aka Becky Chelly, had chased drugs like he chased cigarettes, oh God, I'd have to close my rehab and open up an old age home. But it's easier to chase shit and soft targets. On that, friends, there was an horrific event today. And what I've read about it is that a 16-year-old boy that had Down syndrome was under a truck. This is what I've read about it. And the police shot him because he couldn't answer them in Eldorado Park. Eldorado Park, he was then taken to Chris Baragwanath Hospital, where he was dead. And the police told the doctors that they must say he was involved in a gang fight. Eldorado Park has gone wild. They're wanting to burn yet. Eldorado Park is not a place where you mess in. Anyone who knows do you know Eldorado Park?
Yes,
You
Mr.
don't play in
Wall.
that. You don't play
No,
there.
you don't. It is a community in Johannesburg that I think is not as bad as the Cape Flats, but it's also as good as some of the other areas in Cape Town. No, I have been there. The last time I was there was in 2011 though.
Yeah. No, but now the shooting of this young boy, especially that he's disabled, is horrific. That's why I'm calling in my videos, we must stop calling for the civil war. Eh? The civil war is when you get out of your car and you just get mowed down. And you can go offer any drug addict 50 rand and they'll kill you.
Definitely.
Is it okay? Sorry, that's just Carl. Carl just bought a new computer and it looks absolutely beautiful. He's got like a whole disco set there. And that's the rewards of recovery. 9 months ago, the man was making TikTok videos that people thought he belonged in an insane asylum.
And then he was sent to a rehab where he was scuffling gravel for 12 hours a day.
For 4 months.
Shame.
And he came to us and he continued his business of doing tax for people. Doing brilliantly. You know, he registered my other organization in a day. He's doing brilliantly. He looks good. He's an absolute pleasure to have. You know, we're going to make him the spokesperson. He speaks so quick. Always got nice things to say. And there's the transformations, man. I saw Richie on you earlier. Richie forgot where he comes from. Richie's forgotten where he comes from. Eh?
Definitely.
Because he only brought us honey cakes the other day.
They brought us some cakes and it was Joni's birthday.
It was Joni's birthday. Happy birthday, Joni. Happy birthday, Joni. You and Richie in room number 1. You are our good friends. Especially Joni who met Richie. Now they're together. They're living together. Instant, but they're living together. Okay, Richie, I'll take I had to, Richie. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Richie? I won't go any further, Rich. And look at the success stories. When a man sends me a video today of the house they've just finished building, he doesn't have to do that, man. But that to me is priceless. When a guy does that, when you get feedback, like Clutchy. When Clutchy was here 2 weeks ago, he looked so well.
Yeah, it was good to see him looking like that.
Yeah, I spoke to Freddie. Freddie's doing well. Even though his father. Arthie's doing well. So this man does a lot behind the scenes. When he goes home to his hood, he does a lot for people and he does a lot for addicts. He does a lot for parents. He brings up stuff that parents should be bringing up, but he brings it up in his motor vehicle. So the success stories are what we want to see, but the success stories isn't given to you like a Christmas present. It's more like a salary. You have to work for it. That's a perler.
That's a perler, sir.
What do you think, Kurt?
Definitely, that is a perler.
Work for it and you will get the reward. Everyone has got a gift. All our addicted children have got a gift. But sometimes they're too scared to open the box to see what the gift is. But they all got gifts. So anyway, Kurt, you've had a long day. I've had a long day's drive from I don't even know where I was. Past Clan William, Claver. Absolutely beautiful. Go up to the flowers this weekend. It's beautiful. You know, it's orange, pink, purple.
Yeah, you sent me all colors of the
Yeah.
rainbow storm. Very nice photos. Was that the doctor's photos?
All the doctor's photos. I'm
Sure.
not going to take credit.
Sure.
Okay, and our stuff is going very well with Sandy's Eden, Junita. It's going very well. The doctor therapy. Sorry, the dog therapy. I get doctors and dogs, you know what I mean? And, oh, cool. So, the therapy with the dogs is going lekker. The guys are grafting hard. And they had spay day there on, and when the dogs got neutered or whatever they call it, the dogs and the cats. And it was very nice that the people were out there. And Janita, what she does for this community from Sandy's Eden Animal Welfare is unbelievable. Keep her in her prayers as I'm not going to mention what it is because we don't want to disrupt it. Just keep her in her prayers, and God will answer those prayers. I'm convinced God will answer those prayers. And more partnerships in this world without waiting for a better place for you and for me. That I firmly believe in. It's not what I can get out of it. To us, it's more what can I put into it.
What can I give instead of take?
What can I give instead of take? And I think Richie would have appreciated that one. Because Joni says thank you for her birthday. I never made you, Joni. So you can just say thank you for the wishes. You're a wonderful person. We love you to bits on this farm, Joni. You're a part of us, even though you didn't come through a recovery. You decided to take Richie instead, and he's like so. But that's okay. We love Richie to bits. And all other people, maybe I've missed out. Sometimes I miss out people, and I think to myself afterwards, I should have made a comment about this one, a comment about that one. Like Garth Alaria, 10 months sober. I tell you, if anyone had put money in on the first day he came here, whew, no one but his mother and father gave that man a chance. No one. Let me tell you when I talk about no one, because Kurt knows him from the days in the hood. And look how well he's doing now.
Sure, like I said, that Garth couldn't go to a petrol station without giving the money to the petrol jockey before throwing the petrol in. And yeah, to see these things happen is amazing. I think the perception that people have sometimes is that sometimes we see the person come into recovery, and maybe it's like seeing a bodybuilder. You see that he looks so good and that he's well of that, but that's the only part of him that you see. You don't see what he does in his own time, what he does behind the scenes, how much goes into him being able to look like that. And I think it's the same in recovery, is that people see the before and they see the after, but like you said, if we work for it, it's the work that goes into it that gets us to that place. And if we don't work for it, then nothing changes. Because for any human being to change, addict or not, to change traits about yourself and learn behaviors and to unlearn certain traits and behaviors is difficult.
Okay. Thanks, Kurt. Another night around the fire. Wasn't there a TV program we had around the fire? I don't know if you can see the fire. Let me just show you the fire. The fire is burning nicely behind us. So, yeah, Kurt, it was lekker. Next time we'll take a list of all the guys who've been here and are doing well, and we can share that. God bless you. Hi, Andrew. I must say, greet Andrew.
Brown as well, yeah.
Andrew Brown doing so well. Keep it up. Remember, we're in a marathon here, guys. We're not in 100 meters. Anyone be in Garth. But the marathon takes a bit of effort. So thank you very much. We recharge for the weekend. For all those with loved ones on the farms, there's no problems.
No problem.
No one's hasting. No one's got issues.
All good.
They're all good. So be rest assured, they're all good. I would never lie to you when it comes to that, because I'm playing with a person's life. And thank you all for tuning in to Radio Kurt and Anthony. One day we'll go bigger. We like to go bigger. We've got Carl to promote us.
Yes, and all our friends that are watching that share and that
Yes,
put their orange ribbons on for Orange Friday, and we are reaching people. We are getting it out there.
All around the world. A lot of people only watch this when it's finished and during the day. So thank you very much. God bless you, and we'll meet again tomorrow evening. And I think it's time for a karaoke evening soon. God bless you all. Thanks a lot, and cheerio. Thanks, guys.